Hello and welcome back to The Letter, and right now we're still dealing with Luke, who really is an asshole than I thought. Because I was hoping maybe, just maybe Luke was a good guy in some fashion, he was just maybe a little bit racist. He's just an asshole. And just happens to be very nice to Hannah. That's it. It's the only person, that's it. So anyways, and also that makes me regret my decisions from the past. Not that I don't anyways, with some decisions I've made already.
I warned you, you ass!
Why this is harassment, I'm telling you! Harassment!
Is it?
And why don't you tell that to the police once they get here,
You despicable! Whatever you're assuming I am, I'll have you know it's all in your head. None of it's true. You'd best have that pretty brain of yours checked before that gets worse. What is wrong with you? Is this the face of someone who'd do anything suspicious?
Yes, very much, in every possible way.
Oh? You don't think a stranger luring an innocent child with promises of sweets before whisking them away from their parents doesn't warrant any suspicion? You have a very funny definition of suspicious, asshole. Maybe you're the one who should have that head of yours checked.
The kid asked me to buy her sweets. You're the one who's suspicious here. I'll have you know, I have a wife.
That much at least appears to have a sliver of truth to it. He even makes a show brandishing his left hand to my face with much flourish. Sure enough, a wedding ring is there, though all that earned him is unimpressed glare from me. Immediately, a small part of me starts to feel sorry for whatever poor woman married this sad. And honestly, I'm kind of disappointed myself with choosing Hannah to stick with this asshole. I really should have not done that. I should have listened to Marianne. I don't understand why he has to bring her up either, as if the mention of her alone will magically present a solution to his problem. She must really be a remarkable woman if she can handle a dirtbag like him.
Even my wife of all people in this bloody city, has never, I'm telling you, accused me of such a scandalous thing! You crazy woman!
Married or not, you're still a sleaze. Honestly, I feel...
Miss Pink, why are you fighting with my teal?
Son of a bitch, this is what I was worried about. God damn it. Whatever words still left to be said here dies on my tongue. Same thing goes for the sleaze. Besides us stands Kylie, gawking at us with that same curious stare she often brings with her. Maybe it's a good thing I didn't hit him, I guess. I still would rather hit him, honestly. I know that look all too well, a precious child through and through. She doesn't say anything further. Her gaze simply moves between us, eyeing us both carefully, clearly anticipating an answer. From my experience, when it gets like this with children her age, it's sure a sign they won't leave you until you've given them an answer they're satisfied with. Lying won't do either. It has dissolved into a shouting match for heaven's sake. And did she say Tio? Something falls straight to the pit of my stomach at that. But my tone is gentle when I finally address her, void of any apprehension and what might be the first hints of embarrassment. I pointedly ignore the latter. It could very well be just the hunger speaking.
Kylie, sweetie, do you know this oaf?
Yeah, he's Teal Luke.
Which was I worried about. God damn it. So, wait a sec. If this is the same person we're thinking of, or at least I'm thinking of, he has a camera? Kind of suspicious. Why? I can't wait till we get to Luke's story and figure out what the hell's going on. Right at that moment, my brain stops. Every line of thought, every argument I still have against the man besides me dissipates in a haze. Missed all of it. One memory gets triggered from a few days ago.
Tio? The one you mentioned before? The uncle? The guy Rowan wanted to impress? Or was that a dare? I'm sorry, I can't recall. Is it the one who promised he'll take Big Brother someplace cool?
Yeah, the one and the same. Don't you
God
know who he is?
dang it. God dang it. This is... Oh, God. I honestly thought of someone much better. Apparently, this is him. God dang it. This is terrible. Okay, let's continue. How? Oh my god. I'm sure as hell don't, darling. Because if I do, I won't have let everything I've said earlier come out of my mouth.
He's my Tio Luke. Gazillionaire extraordinaire, am I? No, the fairy godfather.
He's your godfather. That's
Problem.
That's nice.
The one and only.
Ugh.
Did I get that right, Tio?
More than right, sweetheart. I'm sure Miss Pink here understood everything you said quite perfectly.
Hopefully no one called the police. Whatever it is that landed at the bottom of my stomach prior has shot straight up to my face and stayed there. The heat from it slowly spread to my cheeks, coloring my face in almost the same shade as my hair. If only the earth would swallow me whole here and now. His eyes are on me. I could feel them, jeering, mocking. Can't even bring myself to look at him. What's in there? Amusement? I doubt it. He's probably having time of his life right now. But I know, I could hear the sneer in his tone alone when he talks. He has that smug grin on him, which I may or may not want to punch off his face at the present, just for the hell of it. But damage control. I need to do some damage control before this whole thing goes south. Fuck you, Luke. Fine. Let's apologize to him. There we go. I honestly would have rather had it down with how he is, but... Complete misunderstanding, huh? Son of a bitch. Though it pains me to apologize to a sleazebag like him, this is my mistake. It's kindly watching us close by. I don't want to set a bad example for her, do I? I'm surprised she grew up the child she is, if anything. I want to be the role model this man couldn't possibly become from her. Even if it means taking a few blows to my ego and stroking his insufferable one. Deep gulp of air, a short moment, swallow my self-respect, and then I'm facing him. The words are out of my mouth in a single breath.
I'm really, really sorry, sir.
The bigger person.
I had no idea.
His smirk is impossible to miss. I wouldn't be surprised. He's not making an effort to hide it, and even the smile is so irritably present in his tone. If I could slap it off him, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Now, it's an honest mistake, Daisy.
Is it?
No, I really mean it. I actually thought you were... And then...
It's fine now. It probably happens quite a lot to a few people who look suspicious to you.
Fuck you, Luke.
Seems I'm one of them now. But don't lose sleep over it. Do be careful with that book, though. A little more and you would have dislodged my poor brain off my head. What would I ever do if that happens?
Oh no! Did it leave a mark or anything? If you want, we can have it checked. I'll handle the expenses if there's a need for it.
Now, what kind of man would I be if I let an attractive woman such as yourself do that? Why don't we just look at it this way? My forgiveness is coming from the utter goodness of my heart.
I hardly doubt that, but okay, Luke. So full of himself. Exactly the kind of person I'll happily leave to die in a ditch somewhere.
Of course, sir. Why didn't I think of it that way?
I know, right? But even someone as capable as you is bound to have a few lapses. No harm done, Daisy. Let's move on from this.
Well, if you're going to put it like that, then I guess there's nothing left for us to talk about.
I figured as much.
We're gonna pay for Kylie's pudding, if I remember correctly. Because I feel like that's where this might lead. Awkward. Whole exchange is nothing but an awkward display of fake pleasantries. Once that brings much agony to the very pride I've willingly held back a while ago, I might need a drink later so I can forget any of this ever happened. Who would have thought that the time would come when I'd meet someone tougher to handle than Isabelle? Miracles of miracles, I swear. Though, to my surprise, he proffers me a hand shortly before they leave. For a shake, I realize, after a long minute of staring at it. I accept it, albeit half-heartedly. But all of the goodwill that small gesture represents melts into the thin air when he winks at me. Winks. The gall of this man. However, there's no moment to ponder about it. Seconds later, the guy at the counter waves me over and hands me a paper bag as soon as I've paid. He offers me another smile before I leave. I bet. Normally I return it simply for the sake of returning it, or I don't at all, with the latter happening more commonly. For the time being, I do so freely. After the encounter and the scene we've caused, seeing a friendly gesture being extended to me, albeit from a person I barely know on a personal level, it feels like a reassurance, despite bearing no promise of better days. I take what little I can of it with me as I step out into the night. The cloudless night greets me when I walk out of the cafe. Beyond the tall buildings, a blanket of stairs spreads out before me. Also, our journal update. Let me like that. Still the 25th, so where along does this part of the story occur? So I was also eating. Okay. And this is towards the end of the day, too. Okay, so a cloudless night sky greets... Wait, I already read that. Isabelle once told me that the best place to view it is someplace outside the city, away from the noise and the obtrusive lights. She'd seen it once in her mom's hometown and another time at the university she used to attend. Then she asked if it's possible to try it out here sometime. I agree with her at the time, if only because she appeared excited at the mere prospect of it. We made those little plans along with Zachary and Ashton. I don't know why they update. I honestly don't understand why things have updated. But whatever. Well, up until now, we never got around it. Even so, I find myself enjoying this, despite being told it's only half the experience. Little things, you know? Stuff you learn to appreciate when you're alone. Because at certain times, you get to meet people who are unfortunately born with innate talent to ruin the mood of scene with their mere existence alone. For example, the very driver of the car, fast approaching my direction. Luckily, he doesn't notice me. But the fleeting moment we pass each other by gives me a brief glance of people he's with. Son of a bitch. That's not Kylie. That is not Kylie. Sitting... Oh, wait. Oh, sitting in the backseat. Never mind. I thought I was in... Fucking turn around! Kylie's sitting on the back seat with a serving of bread pudding in her hands. And beside him, it must be his wife. That's... sure. He takes a turn and disappears at the nearest corner. But throughout the night, that cursory glimpse of all things to bother me left me wondering what kind of person his wife is. It's not that person. Not that mess that's in the other seat. And more than that is a silent prayer to the universe. I hope I don't ever cross paths with that douche again. It's gonna occur. and having such an eventful day, anyone will think nothing will surprise me anymore. But here I am, standing at the top of the stairwell, watching an odd scene unfold before me. Relief crosses my mind first, followed by confusion.
What is she doing there?
Although given what happened this morning, the question feels a bit inappropriate to ask directly. I feel like we're going to have to ask her anyways. What's the point is Isabelle is here. She's sitting cross-legged on the hallway, just right in front of her room. Several papers and folders scattered about. Each of them seems as important as the next. More than once upon giving the scene a quick scan, I spot Briar Realities logo at the topmost area of the pages. Everything considered, it looks like a mess made by a third grader working on crunch time. The landlady will have a few things to say about this when she finds out. I have a few things to say about this myself, in fact. But something in the calm, focused manner she holds herself at present keeps me from disturbing her with that reminder. She's going through each paper with this intensity. Her brows are frowned, lips in a tight line, both hands moving in a precise movements. She shifts through each sheet. When she finds something of note, she moves closer, nose almost touching whatever paper she's holding, and grabs her phone to call someone.
Hello. Sorry to call you this late. There's something I just want to confirm, if that's okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Thanks anyway.
Okay, I want to say that might be work, but okay.
Not that one either.
Not that one. It's a cycle she goes through call after call, then after the last one ends, she shuffles through the pile again and dials another number. Is it work? I've never seen her this engrossed with her own work before. Otherwise, she would have noticed my presence the moment I've reached our floor. After the 9th call, she still appears as oblivious to it as when I've arrived. When she lets out a loud sigh this time, I immediately take that as an opportunity to interrupt.
Isabella, you know the house rules here.
At once, her head jerks back and hits the concrete wall behind her with a thump. Ow. That's the Isabelle I know. Glad it's still there. I allow her a moment to nurse it before speaking again.
Becca, you're late.
Yeah, I ran into a little trouble at the cafe. But I brought food for the two of us, if you haven't eaten anything yet.
But she probably hasn't. As anticipated, she grins once I raise the bag of food I'm holding. Yet it doesn't reach her eyes. There's nothing of cheerful glint in it this time. Just a hollow tone for the sake of being polite. Ashen's right. Something's happened.
Maybe later. I've got to finish this first. Just leave it here. I'll eat it once I'm done. Thanks, Becca.
You can't eat this here. You know how the landlady would react. Why are you even working outside? Your room's right there.
I know. Sorry. It just feels stuffy in my apartment right now.
No. She's still scared of something in there, and I imagine it might be the letter.
I'll go back inside once everything's been aired out. I promise.
That has never bothered you before.
Well, it bothers me now.
Well,
Oh,
okay.
really? Just now? I find that hard to believe.
Yeah? Shouldn't you be happy? I mean, you've been complaining even if it's not your room. Now I know how you're feeling when it's messy, so I'm going to clean. Isn't that a good thing?
In spite of what's supposed to be good news, an exhale comes from me, drawn out and slow.
It's a good thing, Isabella. Believe me. But you're as bad as Zachary at lying. What's really going on?
She hastily averts her eyes, a surefire indicator that this is going to be one of those lengthy conversations that can possibly end with the other person angry. Again. It's one thing I'd like to avoid tonight at all costs. Still, I've made a promise to Ashton and Zachary. If she didn't talk to them, who else is she going to talk to? If she keeps this all to herself, who knows what might happen.
Isabella, you can tell me. Is it about your family?
Slight movement of her lips, although a frown, it's a reaction at least. I'm
Rose?
getting there. Alright, something happened to the father, didn't it? She merely shakes her head. Just a little more.
Come on, on. I know something happened. I don't know if it's because of Rose, but I know it's related to her somehow. You weren't here when I visited this morning, and both Zachary and Ashton are worried about you. If you don't want to tell them, you can tell me. Does it have something to do with work? Office?
If I didn't know her, I might have missed it. She shifts then, her fist clenching tight and teeth biting her lower lip, and then there's fear. The look of terror in her is the last thing I expect to see out of everything. If I remember correctly, I remembered something happened to the father. Unless that's just an entirely different conversation that would occur. But what's occurred now is her remembering the ghost that came at the work. Her mouth trembles briefly before she opens them. When she finally voices out, the words simply spill out of her mouth, one after another. All of it. True to what I've promised her, I listen. Because this is something she's been keeping to herself, even from the two most dependable people I know. The fact she chooses to tell me this speaks a lot to me.
She was there again. Last night? In the office? Boss passed me all of Rose's workload yesterday. For the Ermengarde Mansion. I had to stay late to finish them all. And then... when I was about to go home, I saw her. I saw her again! She was standing in front of me again last night, Becca. I couldn't get away. She was blocking the door. If I hadn't hidden myself, even if I made the tiniest noise, if she found me...
You would have been dead, which may or may not have occurred. Just maybe.
Becca, she almost did! If she saw me under my table, I think that would have made the end of it. I'm scared. I'm so scared I won't be able to do anything!
By the end, her hands are trembling and her breathing comes out in rasping intervals. For a long moment, I let the silence stretch out between us. Let her sobs fill it instead. But even as her soft whimpers died down minutes later, there's a heaviness hanging in the air. Not just from her, but also from me. From expiration over this whole matter. From my own frustration over her stupid superstition when she could do all us a favor and grow a backbone. Gosh, I hate that no one believes her, except for Zach a little. She may be young, but she's no longer that young. It's about time to put an end to this. She can't keep going on like this. She's still got plenty of years to live out. And what if she goes home? What if we're no longer there to keep her fears in line with what's real? What would she do then? I'm more afraid for her, for what that kind of imagination will do to her than what some imaginary monster could. But with the manner she's looking at me right now, there's an exception in it. Hope and a plea sewn together. She wants me to believe her this time. If it's like that, then what am I supposed to say now? Shit. When she wants to hear or what she needs to. No, cause I know for a fact what's going on, so I'm like, I want to do the best for what I can for Isabel, cause with how the story is, it is, if anything, very centered around how Isabel might end up. I feel. Because everyone's had some sort of interaction with her that may or may not be bad. So I want these characters to believe her. Just a little is all I want. Is this why you didn't go home last night? I don't know if that went up or down. I should have checked beforehand. As much as I want to set her straight, a reprime isn't what she needs right now. With that pouty face she's giving me, I doubt it'll ever end well if I push it. I know her. When she wants to be stubborn, she's stubborn. But there are moments when she can be a Cus. Oh shit! I've never seen this word before. Quencing too. Quencing. I think it's a quencing. I don't know English. Times when she'll be more accepting of what I tell her, by her inclination to disagree with it. That talk can wait. In the meantime, it'll be the ear that listens to her without judging her, without criticizing her, despite my own opinions on
You
it.
should have called me.
She stares at me like I've grown another head, and a laughter slips out before I can stop myself.
There? I can't do that! What will you do? Hit her with a book? You'll be dead before that happens. And
That isn't what I'm talking about. After you got out, you should have phoned me. You didn't have to go to Zachary's.
The corners of her mouth curl up, a sheepish smile. By general definition, but this is Isabelle, her smiles are never half-hearted, never lacks her high spirits. Until, of course, she's seen the ghost, then all that's kind of faded away at this point. Despite this, I know everything's going to be okay. Somehow. After all, she learned how to pick herself up long ago, long before we met.
yeah, sorry. I don't even remember how I ended up in Zach's place. I was in a hurry to get out of the office, and it was already late. Besides, I don't really think you'll believe me if I wake you up over something like that.
Yeah.
That's beside the point. True or not, there are people who will always be concerned about you. There's Zachary, but he's the first person you went to, and you didn't tell him anything. You just slept there. There's Ashton too, and me. But how do you think I'll be able to explain to your aunt or your family if you suddenly disappeared? Think about that.
Right. I'll remember that next time.
I really hope she's going to be better now. Then she grins, playful and mischievous. A preamble to an older banter. It's still not quite there, still not quite her usual self, but with it, I know we're bound to get her back soon.
Mom.
I told you not to call me that.
I send an elbow to her side for added measure, but when laughter follows the familiar gesture, none of it is unexpected. This is what's comfortable. That is how we've found an equal ground despite our stark differences. So far, the moment I accept things as they are. Afterwards, a hush stretches out before us. For Isabelle, this is rare. This isn't her. Yet, in this moment, as she fills with the edge of another paper near her, as she hugs her knees close to herself and lets a pensive expression linger on her, it feels strangely fitting. As if this is where everything's supposed to lead to if we allowed it long ago. Second later, the moment is broken by the sound of a door easing open and a voice begging some little piece. Sorry, neighbors.
How many times have I told you girls not to loiter around the hallway? It's noisy. Some people here are trying to sleep. Quiet down or go do your talking inside. I'm pinning a memo to your door the next time this happens. Millennials.
Fuck
Sorry,
you.
we won't do it again.
You'd better.
Why do they have to live, like, right next to her? Just saying. Her clothes and Isabelle starts gathering the mess she has made, carefully stacking them all in her arm. At a loss for what to do, I help pick them up and, or for the first time, I get closer look at it. Completely unintentional, of course, but it catches my attention nevertheless, and a confused frown makes its way to my face. Why is she looking through this? I look to her for an explanation, but she merely ignores the question in my eyes, takes the paper off my hands, and finishes cleaning up. The last paper she puts on top is a letter. The one she supposedly found. Found in the mansion, what's probably the root cause of this odd behavior. I share a questioning look for that too, but all she gives me is a smile, and in a halting tone, so completely unlike her.
I'll find a way out of this. You guys don't have to worry about me. Anyways, I should go. I'll see you later.
No, I'm gonna worry about this all all through this
Where are you
playthrough.
going?
Getting myself some food. Don't wait for me.
Isabella walks away before I can stop her. Before I can remind her, I brought her food enough for the two of us. She quickly disappears down the stairway while I'm left standing in an empty hallway holding 2 bags of takeout. One of them will go uneaten tonight. Just an instant passing thought. One that I don't dwell much on as I head back to my room. Ignore all of it in the same way I've assumed I won't ever encounter that douche again. We're gonna encounter that douche. And this is gonna be the last thing on the 25th, alright? Yep, there we go. Ignore all in the same way, yeah. Oh, 2 days passed. Okay. The brief, actually, this is actually good timing to end the video. So, if you guys enjoyed the video, go to the like button. If you want to see what's going to happen next, or see what I'm going to make, go to the subscribe button to be notified of any videos I do. Got anything to say in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Comrades?